Dude, it's amazing that you don't need lights in here.
I know, right? The southern exposure, it really just like takes it to the next level.
Okay, I think that should be good.
Welcome back. I'm Kelsey. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different style kind of video. It's going to be a Q&A, and I have my friend Sophia here. Sophia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Sophia Mitropoulos. I also have an art channel. We are filming 2 videos together, so the day that this video launches, there'll be a video on my channel as well.
Yes, go check that out. Her channel is amazing.
We just met based on you hitting me up and coming to New
Yeah,
York.
I was like, hi.
Yeah, dude,
And
cold
friends.
intros. It's the best way to do it. So today I'll be facilitating her Q&A.
Yeah. So you guys submit your questions via either the community post on my channel or in the comments or even on Patreon. So we have all of these questions collated and we're gonna answer them. So people will be asking questions and also be picking from the questions to like figure out like the best ones to answer, and then I will be answering the questions and we're just gonna be sort of chatting, and we might go on tangents and stuff, but it'll be like a conversation type of kind of thing.
All right, let's do it.
All right, I'll have a comment highlighted for every single question that we answer, and so you can just see every single one of them.
Dana says, hi Kelsey, I'm just getting started and I want to sell my paintings and art prints. My question for you is, how many pieces of art should I have ready to create an art portfolio big enough to sell online?
Yeah, I would say that like you don't need any minimum number of pieces to really get started. If you could just sell one print and you know that print is gonna sell, go for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can have a limited release, you can be like, I'm gonna release 25 of these prints. When they're gone forever. That's the only edition that I'll do. That would drive a lot of demand. I don't think that you need like a huge portfolio to be able to start selling your work.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think sometimes you never know which one's gonna pop off, and sometimes it's your first one. And it really can be,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
It's worth trying. And also, it is something where you can like start with one, and if it's successful and there's a market for more, you can always make more of the same later.
Yeah, and there's a lower barrier to prints, I feel like, you know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
as an oil painter, it's more difficult for me to release prints because I have to get like a really high quality photo or scan, but for someone that does gouache, sketchbook work, or even digital art, it's so much easier to make prints.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Jay Joseph. I'd like to know more about your life and your source of inspiration, whether it's books, movies, music, or music.
Yeah, so I have the personality of like an 80-year-old woman.
I don't think that's true. No, you're more interesting than that.
No, I do like sewing and like embroidery on like
Hobbies,
men's
so
clothes. I love cooking and baking. I watch a lot of video essays on YouTube. I play YouTube like 24/7 in the background basically. I love to have like someone's voice there to like keep me company. So let's do a lot of podcasts. But as a former political science major, I also just like listen to a lot of political stuff too. So like John Oliver, Some More News here on YouTube, the Pod Save America and Pod Save the World podcasts. Love those. In terms of like sources of inspiration, for me, art is really one of those things where like I do it to keep me sane personally and to relax me and just sort of express myself and my emotions and sort of like escape from the world. And so a lot of the inspiration that I take for my art is from nature. So I release a lot of reference photo packs on my Patreon talking about like upstate New York or like Alaska in the summer or like a random field in Wisconsin that my boyfriend and I saw an amazing sunset and we went to a wedding, and it was like sort of stuff like that is like what really inspires me.
Yeah, lots of nature stuff. I feel like I get major nature vibes from you.
Yeah, there's never like a overarching political message to my work really, because that's sort of not why I make art.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of things now are looking for that, like that heavy political hand in your art, but I don't know if it's necessary, you know?
Yeah, I want to make things that look pretty.
Yeah, that's totally acceptable.
No thoughts, head empty.
Exactly. Meow Archive says, hi Kelsey, my question for you is really simple. How are you? You're a busy bee and seems like you're balancing a lot of things at once. What do you do to slow down or relax?
Oh man, video essays on YouTube like I talked about before. I read a lot, mostly fan fiction, not gonna lie. Not serious literature. If it doesn't have romance in it, I cannot keep my interest.
What's your favorite trope?
Enemies to lovers, probably.
Enemies to lovers, yeah.
Or like lovers to enemies to lovers again.
That's a hot one.
Heavy angst.
That's some fanfic.
But yeah, I would say that I'm doing pretty well. I'm not super like stable in terms of income right now, so it's a little bit of a stressor on me right now at the moment. But I have been applied for other jobs, like I mentioned on the channel before, and yeah, I would say I'm doing fine. I'm doing pretty good.
Everything's great.
Like, I was pretty depressed like 6 months or so ago, but I'm feeling like much better now, and I have like a great apartment with really sunny vibes, like lots of lighting, and I have lots of plants, and for me, like that's really important for my happiness. And just because I'm making so much more art than I used to be, I'm so much more fulfilled creatively. Yeah, that's really important.
That I agree. I think that's great. Okay, so Yu-Gi-Oh has several questions to you.
When you said Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like the anime.
Well, it's spelled like Yu-Gi-Oh, but there's an H, and I don't know
Yeah, I know.
The H is in the wrong place, so it's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! You comment a lot. Thanks.
We love that. We love those
love you.
familiar names. Hello, Kelsey. I want to know how to properly grow an audience and also create a sense of connection. So there's a couple parts to this question. They also want to know where you see yourself in 10 years.
Sure.
Or they also want to know what they suggest you do to grow your channel as a small YouTuber, your favorite mediums to use, and the biggest challenges you face.
I'll start with the audience question first. And like to build a following on social media, to create an audience, there are two parts to that. But primarily you need to provide value. I talk about this a lot. I'm going to reference some other videos in the sidebar and the cards above. But you need to first provide value. That's a really important part of starting your channel. You need to like answer questions for people. You need to like solve problems for them. And you don't have to have mastered art or social media to really provide value. You can like, do product reviews. You can do like time lapses, brief tutorials on stuff that you have a good grasp of, and that's still providing value. Even entertainment is actually providing value. Like Mr. Beast, he's content, like he's not doing tutorials or explainer videos. He's like just entertaining people, but it's like so wild and crazy that it's actually really entertaining.
Yeah.
And that like provides value. So I would say that providing value is really important to fostering any kind of following on social media. But in terms of like getting to know those people and sort of fostering that genuine sense of connection, just show your real life, like be authentic and show sort of what you go through in your daily life. It doesn't have to be easy, it can be like struggles, and even that I think is actually very engaging. Showing your struggles and being really honest and upfront about like what your daily life looks like, what you go through is really important to really building that connection because it's relatable. Like seeing people go through hurdles and face obstacles and overcome them, like that is like the hero's journey.
Yeah.
That's like sort of the pinnacle of human storytelling. That's really engaging.
I agree. I definitely agree. They also want to know where you see yourself in 10 years.
Oh man, okay, so ideally, this is probably like a little bit of a pipe dream, but I would like to own a house.
Okay, we love that.
Would like to own a house.
Godspeed to us all.
Whether that's possible, who can say? But yeah, owning a house would be great. I really want to live in an area with mountains, and like I want to hike around. I want to have a really colorful fall, so probably like the New England area is like most likely where I'm going to end up. But also, I lived in Alaska for a little while and I loved it there. I loved the mountains, and there's just this one area. There's two areas of Alaska that I love. Cooper Landing and Seward, both in the Kenai Peninsula, and they're gorgeous. I'll put some pictures of both so you guys can see them, but like it's so beautiful. The mountains are huge. The water is like this like beautiful teal color. Like there's this moss that grows in the trees in Seward that looks like pillowy clouds on the branches. Like it's just like it's like a Studio Ghibli movie. It's like magical.
Okay, Judith N wants to know, what camera lenses would you recommend for making your videos more smooth and interesting?
So it's not camera lenses that I actually use to make my videos smooth and interesting.
This is a hot tip.
Yeah, I use diffusion filters. Diffusion filters are like my secret. I talk about this in a few videos. I'll link them again in the cards above. But yeah, so I use the Tiffin Black Pro Mist and the Cinebloom Moment. It's like the 1/4 and the 20% respectively. And that basically smooths the image of your footage. So my apartment, for example, really strong lighting. Like it's super bright in here all the time, and with any camera, the shadows are going to be sort of harsh on your face as a result of this really bright, strong light. So you want something that softens that out, and diffusion filters do that. In terms of smoothness, like just get really used to, handheld motion. Just like keep your arms like close to your chest when you do B-roll shots. And
little sniper moment, hold
like
your breath.
As little as possible, yeah. I just like move my upper body and never my legs. That provides the most shakiness for me, and then you want to sort of lock your elbows in, keep that camera as tight to your chest as possible.
So the next one is also kind of about setup and camera stuff. Kumar Sriyant Das, I hope I said that right, wants to know camera angle and lighting setup for shooting graphite artworks.
I don't know. I have, I think, only one video on my channel where I talk about doing graphite artwork. Like, if you're talking about reflections, it's probably the biggest thing that you're gonna face, having that strong light.
Yeah.
Don't use overhead light. That's the biggest tip. You want one light source. Let me put my apple cider down so I don't spill it. You want one light source to be at like a 45-degree angle, and then you want your camera to be at the other side.
Yeah, and I also would say just like try. Just test different angles, like put up a drawing you've already done, and then test different angles of the shot, have somebody sit where you would sit and like set up the shot for yourself.
And try different positions of the drawing. Like I have that desk easel that has the solid wood back that brings my sketchbook up to an angle that I've shown before in videos, and that really helps a ton in preventing glare.
Yuno's Art says, I want to know what you have planned for your future and about your journey till here. And also I would like to know how you feel right now about all the things you've achieved so far. There's a lot packed into that question.
For the rest of 2021, I'm going to be talking about setting goals, just practical stuff of like, you know, this is what it's like to be monetized, this is how much I'm making right now, this is how you can achieve the same thing, and just like more value-based driven content. So I'm making a lot of art videos recently. I want to pivot a little bit more toward the information side of things, just for the end of this year, and then I'll switch to more art stuff in the next few months, but talking about goals, monetization, business, like really setting all that stuff up, because I finally achieved this big goal of monetization, and that opens up a whole host of opportunities for how to start making money from your content. Yeah, in terms of how I feel about what I've achieved so far, that's a great question. I don't want to sound ungrateful though, but like there's this weird feeling that can happen when you work towards something for a long time and then it happens and then it's like very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like the first morning after monetization was like sort of very underwhelming. It's like I don't have to, like I made $5 yesterday, you know, it's like not like life changing, but sometimes it's like opening the door to be life changing, and that's important, but it's like the event itself afterward felt a little bit underwhelming, just because I like really hyped up my head.
I think it's hard for everybody to like, I don't know, I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like everybody's got imposter syndrome. Maybe just women. That could be it too. But I don't know, I feel like it's the kind of thing where it's like, you could bust your ass for it, and then you're like, okay, well I've done that, and now what's next? You know, what's the next goal? And I think also in terms of YouTube in general, it's important to not set your goals on things that are like out of your control. So you can't set your goals on like, I want to have this many views or I want to have this many subscribers, because you can't control those things. But you can set your goals of, I want to post a video a week consistently. And,
I'm going to have this many videos, and by the end of the year, I'm going to like have one paid product release. I'm going to release one Skillshare class. I think that only set goals that you have control over. Like you said, that's really, really important.
And those are easier to celebrate, because it's like, okay, cool, like I did that. Like I put those videos up every week. Like I didn't subscribe to my channel. Somebody else did that, you know, and I did that as a result of me doing the things that I can handle.
Yeah, it's really important to celebrate those small wins and set achievable goals that you can actually like work toward and get done fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Ayako YC wants to know, what's your schedule like in a week? How do you plan your time, do your projects, etc.?
I tried, and I made a video about this, I tried to set like a consistent schedule for myself like a little while ago. And it worked like okay for that 1 week, you know? And then I was like, well, what do I do now? Basically, how the average week works for me is that I typically work at my part-time job as a virtual assistant on like Tuesdays and then Thursdays or Fridays. So 2 days a week I'm working at that job for most of the day. I'm expected to be on call, like just doing all these various tasks that my client has set up for me. We video chat a lot throughout the day, and I work with her the entire day on those days. But for the rest of the week, my schedule's pretty open. So I actually don't do a tremendous amount of stuff, like because my boyfriend works full time. I do most of the dishes, the laundry, cleaning the apartment, vacuuming, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the time I'm filming videos. Typically when I film a video, I do the whole process from filming to editing and get all that done in like 24 hours.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I edit pretty fast, so it's not really like a huge obstacle for me. But like, I used to edit for days. It would take forever, but now I have a pretty good system, I think.
Yeah, I feel that. Burnell has a few questions.
Oh my god, I love Burnell.
First, how are you honestly feeling today?
Yes, great. I made cornbread. Sophia came over. We've been hanging out. It's like our second or third time hanging out. Third, right? Third. Yeah. I went to Tacombe a little while ago and like did some drawing at Central Park. That was awesome. Loved that. But yeah, pretty good. I got some flowers at the farmer's market today.
Do you want to finish
your question?
If you go back in time and meet any person.
Right. Yeah. Artemisia Gentileschi. Love her. She has an amazing life story. There's this one painting, I've been meaning to make a video on her for a long time. It doesn't really fit my niche anymore, so that's sort of, I don't know. It'll probably be on Patreon, but Artemisia Gentileschi, so she's like Renaissance era, like Rome, right? And obviously, situation is not great for women during this period. The portraits that we have of women during this period, they're like they're not of the women themselves. They're adorned, like they're dressed very like beautifully and lavishly because what they wore was a reflection of the status of the men in their lives, either their father or their husband. So
wow.
It was a very sort of like a dick measuring contest.
Male gaze, major male gaze.
It was definitely major male gaze, and they weren't allowed to look directly at the viewer. And there's power to that. When you engage with the audience in your art, like when you look straight at the viewer, like there's a power that you're asserting there.
Yeah.
But they're all like side profiles.
Oh.
So they don't look at you.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a power imbalance that's created by that. And so Artemisia Gentileschi's work is really interesting because she explores like female justice and violence. And it's not like she doesn't shy away from it. Like she has this one painting of Judith beheading Holofernes, and it's like the scene from the Bible where this woman, there's this general, and he's like taken her homeland. He's abused her and her entire family, and she like just straight up cuts the head off this guy.
Oh my god!
And it's like violent and it's bloody, and she has this look of grit and determination on her face, and like she's just so determined, and like she's gonna kill this guy, and she doesn't regret it. She's not shying away from it. She's like not reveling in the violence either, but there's like this I'm gonna get this shit done sort of vibe to her. And other artists, specifically other male artists that have painted this same scene, and there's tons of paintings of the same scene, they diminish Judith's power. They make her either like really young and shying away from the blood, or they diminish like the reality of the scene, what it would have looked like violently, or they have like Judith holding the head, like Klimt, he's the artist that's printed behind us, which we know is turned upside down, by the way, or like the wrong side, but he did a version of Judith beheading Holofernes, but she's just holding the head, like the beheaded head. Is there a word for that? And it's like it's cut in half. It's at the very corner of the painting. She's the focus, and she's engaging with the viewer, but like her, like the deed that she did isn't the focus anymore. It's like her beauty, and there's like a really specific form of representation that Artemisia was able to show, and she was a survivor of sexual violence. She had to go on trial. She was tortured during the trial. She has this whole history of like really being screwed over by the men in her life, and she turned around and she just like painted this fuck you painting to all of these guys, and like if you do this, like I will straight up like cut your head off.
Yeah, this is your warning.
Yeah, and there's something just so viscerally like pleasing about that. You know what I mean?
I love that. That would be
so
really
good.
interesting to have a conversation with. I like that a lot.
That's a long tangent, but yeah, I love Artemisia.
Okay, total switch on that one. What's your favorite childhood cartoon?
Oh man, okay, so I watched a lot of cartoons when I was a kid. I can't remember all of their names though. You know, like Courage the Cowardly Dog comes to mind as like the one that left the most. That gave me like,
yeah. Skin crawl.
Yeah. It was like a good like horror children's show.
Have you ever considered making clay art?
Yes. So I took a ceramics class in college, but unfortunately it was the spring of 2020 when I took it.
Ouch.
So we instantly went remote, which is really unfortunate, and we never got to the wheel, so we did some hand building stuff, and I would love to do that again and actually learn how to use the wheel, because I really wanted to learn how to use the wheel. That's why I took the class, but it was not meant to be. But yeah, there's tons of ceramic studios here in New York City. I would love to join one of them and just like have some experience building clay. Yeah. Sounds fun.
Clay's awesome. I love clay.
Yeah.
It's funny, I had a ceramics professor in college who was like, the moment I touched clay, I knew it was for me. And I didn't have quite that experience, but clay's great. I really do enjoy it. It like comes, it's like, I feel like for me at least, it's kind of thing that comes into my life for a period of time, and then it leaves and I don't touch it for years, and then it comes back and then it's here for a while and it leaves, and like, it's just one of those cyclical.
I definitely have phases with my art. Really interested in oil painting, then I chose to gouache for a while, and then like, you know.
Well, and it's also the kind of thing where it's like, do you have access to a kiln? Do you have access to glazes? Like, there's a lot of setup.
Access is really important.
Yeah.
And there's tons of stuff that goes into ceramics.
Yeah. Her next one isn't a question, but it says you're amazingly awesome.
Oh, thank you.
But then her next question is, what's your favorite food?
Ice cream, probably.
Yeah, same.
Really good.
And your favorite song?
Oh man. Favorite song? You can't ask someone this question.
I know. I feel like I'm sorry, I'm gonna edit your question for you. What song has been at the top of your playlist recently?
Forget the name. I'm gonna look it up on my phone. I'm gonna look at my Spotify because I have like a showerhead karaoke playlist. the songs that I just think in the shower. And I love the playlist so much. It's like really, it's a great playlist. And I have lots of songs on there that I just like am a huge fan of. So Everything's Fine by Jamie Drake or Redwood Tree by Jamie Drake. They both have really interesting intros, and I just like, it's good shit.
Nice. All right, I love that. Do you have a secret talent that isn't art related?
So I have this weird thing where I'm really good at identifying like sets and extras from all of the media that I've seen.
Stop. Wait, that's hysterical.
So like if someone was an extra in like a Law & Order SVU episode 2007 and they show up in a movie, I'm gonna be like, oh, I know that person.
Oh my god.
And I know what they were in.
Oh my god. Oh, that's crazy.
It's really about Supernatural because it feels like every actor in Hollywood has been on Supernatural at some point.
Yeah, that's true. Especially when they're like C-list celebrities and they like show up on everything.
Yeah, like the guy that he played Crowley, he also is in Leverage, which is something I'm rewatching recently.
Last question she has is, what's something that you love about your subscribers or patrons? That's sweet.
You guys are just so nice. Like, all of you are so nice. You're so supportive. You comment the best things. You like really encourage me a ton, which is awesome. And I feel like I just like feel so supported. One of the things that I was afraid of when I was starting my channel was like negative comments.
Yeah.
And I just never get those.
Yeah.
Like I got one guy that was like, maybe if you stop complaining, you'll achieve your goals, and like whatever. But then I got someone else that was like, the reason that you're not where you want to be is because cats are evil and he's sucking your soul away from your body. And I was like, that's so niche.
That is very specific.
But also like, yes, my cat is a demon, but like he's my demon. I love him. He's fluffy.
He's on my team. I totally think that like mean comments are a big deviation for people for starting YouTube. Like they just don't start it because they're worried about it.
But like they don't happen.
They don't happen. I think for the most part, like especially on small channels, people aren't landing on your videos by accident.
Yeah.
They're finding them pointedly because they like fit. And so I think when you see like, this is just my assessment, but I think when you see bad comments or mean comments, they're on larger videos where it's like they're reaching an audience that isn't necessarily the target audience for the video. So I think on small channels, it is kind of crazy.
Right.
Like there's
but also
very
like
few.
people don't care enough to hate you.
Yeah.
And that's important. Big channels, like people care.
Yeah.
You know, small channels, it's like
That's
I don't
true.
give a shit about this person.
Yeah, you're like this person. Milky Chai says, congratulations on all your achievements so far. You're really an inspiration for us smaller artists. Sorry, I'm like stuttering.
It's okay, me too.
I really want to try out YouTube. I'm just having trouble thinking of how to start. So my question is, how did you plan to come up with your first video, and do you have any tips for filming with a phone?
Filming with a phone.
What
Lighting,
was your first video?
Really important. My first video was, it was a studio makeover. When I first moved into what was my old guest bedroom studio at my grandma's house. So I set that whole thing up in the video. I actually almost didn't publish that video because I lost 80 gigabytes of footage for that video, and so I had to cobble it together from what I was able to save.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't delete the footage for your video until we go live. It's the lesson that I learned.
That's a huge one.
But yeah, your first video, honestly, it doesn't matter what you talk about your first video. It's the first one.
Yeah.
It's just there to for you to have made it. It doesn't actually matter. And to be honest, no one's gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah. And you don't have to tell people about it.
Exactly. Yes. It was so freeing for me. I was like, I can make this in secret.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell anyone. It can be as bad as it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's just a learning experience for me to have practice making a video. Vlogs are a great place to start. I feel like a lot of people talk about and comment on my channel about how intimidating it would be for them to film their process, when they're creating. And for me, it's I'm comforted by the fact that I don't have to publish everything that I film, and that I can just be content that I just delete.
Yeah.
Or speed up, where I don't show, or I'd be this actually didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, and I can talk about the failure. I think that's also really important. But yeah, your first video doesn't matter. To film with a phone, lighting, really important. Lighting any camera setup is really, really important. Definitely film only during the day with a phone because they have smaller sensors and lenses, so they can't capture all that light like a fancier camera can. At the first available opportunity, invest in a camera, seriously.
Yeah.
I film all my videos on my Canon M50, and I just it's good. It works.
Yeah.
And it's great. And with the diffusion filter and with the right camera settings, you're able to create an image that looks really good. And I think that's the most important thing. And if you can't do that with your phone, save up money, buy a refurbished one. I spent $300-ish on my Canon M50 because I got the Mark I refurbished.
Yeah.
So it was a discount for sure. But yeah, I think it doesn't matter what your first video is, just make content.
Yeah. The last series of questions are from Anna Dreams Art. Do you think doing an art channel where you don't show your face / life will still work?
Chelsea Lang is an oil painter here on YouTube. She rarely shows her face. Her content is just like the painting and a voiceover, and that works. She has like 23,000 subscribers, something like that. And yeah, I mean, there are tons of channels like that out there. I think the most important thing is just to have engaging content, and you don't have to show your face for that to be engaging. It is easier, of course. I think as humans, we're wired to pay more attention when someone's talking directly at us. But yeah, I mean, if you have an engaging story, if you like really have a good message that resonates with people, if you can grab them in the first few seconds with B-roll and maybe like a clickbaity voiceover or something, then like, you know, you'll grab attention, you'll be able to maintain it, and you will entertain, and that's what's important.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm like curling into the wall with the so.
Yeah. Do you want me to lower the blinds? I can lower the blinds.
No, we're good. I think
okay.
We're almost done.
Okay.
Is Squarespace better or easier than Wix?
I have no idea. Never tried Wix. Next question.
Yeah. How do you schedule time to do everything? For example, Patreon perks, videos, art, learning, etc.
Yeah, so I talked about before, I pick one day to like tackle a project from start to finish. Like if it's a Patreon video, and I know I'll be able to get it done one day, that whole day, I pick a day, I do it. For the YouTube video, we picked today, we did it.
You did it.
And we're doing it. We're doing it, we're almost done. But yeah, so for stuff like that, that's sort of how I structure it. And in my free time, I think of ways that I can, like, okay, so if a certain piece of content is going to take longer than one day to film, then I do it in chunks, like whenever I want to, and I adjust my schedule to like accommodate that longer video. So I typically organize my content calendar by like videos by effort. So like if a video is going to take me like 3 weeks to film or something, for example, like I have a video coming up that I have planned where I'm going to fill my entire sketchbook in 1 week, and I have like 20 pages left.
Oh my god.
That's not going to be done in one day, you know, that's impossible. So I have to structure my content calendar around the knowledge that that's going to be longer to film than normal. So I have to sort of operate with that in mind. But yeah, I think like for the most part, I try to pick like one thing per day, like one main task.
Just 2 more. Do you have recommendations to choose from dozens of creative uni ideas to find one to focus on?
The one that you're most excited by.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, like, choose one at random.
And finally, how many hours a day should we practice art to improve quickly? Thank you, you're doing an excellent job.
As many as you can, like ideally, right? Like, I don't paint every day. It'd be cool if I did, but I don't, and that's just realistic. Like, I don't have time. I could do it. I could make time for it, and that's the truth. I could make time for it, but realistically, like, I just don't do it every day. Like 2 hours a day, good place to start. 1 hour a day, like as much time as you can commit to per day is what you should do.
Yeah, and if the idea of half an hour a day is too much for you, like do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
And then like you might realize that 10 minutes you want to do 30 because like you're in the flow and you're used to it. Like now it would be weird to stop, so you might find that like committing to a short amount of time is actually better.
Yeah, and I think also it's the kind of thing where it's like, it doesn't have to happen every day, you know, like if you do it once a week, that's doing it every week.
Yeah.
You can think of it in different contexts to sort of reframe, like, and like trick your brain into the way that you want to be thinking about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's all the questions.
Okay, all right. Well, that was the video. It's probably going to be kind of chunky, so thank you for sticking around all the way until the end. If you've watched this long, that's crazy. There are like, I think like what, like 20% of you typically stick around for this long, so congrats to the 20% of you that stick around until this long. But yeah, so check out Sophia's channel. She's awesome. She makes cool art and lifestyle content similar to what I do, and yeah, with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.
Bye.